Today is March 7th, 2018. This is a special meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority. Present in Albany, Chairman Bradley, Commissioner Ford. In New York City is Councilor Riano and Secretary Downey here in Albany. We have two matters on today's calendar. Both are requests for emergency orders of summary suspension from Council's office. First item is 427B, Round 2 Cafe and Catering.
Good morning. On behalf of Council's office, I'm making pursuant to SACA.
Can you pull the microphone to you?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Pursuant to SAPA, can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Pursuant to SAPA, I'm making an emergency order summary order of suspension according to Section 4013 of SAPA. We received only a few days ago referrals from the NYPD about several particularly bad incidents at this location. This establishment was licensed in 2015 as a on-premises restaurant with approximately maximum occupancy of 54 people, 15 tables, 30 seats. A cook is supposed to split hours between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. However, it is located at 1165 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn. It's zoned as a business use area. However, according to Google Maps, there are residences approximately 1 block away. The incident which spurred this summary order of suspension was February 3rd of this year. Approximately 3 a.m., multiple individuals, probably close to 20, were fighting in front of this location. It is unclear how many officers responded to this fight. However, it is clear that 3 victims walked into the 67th precinct the next morning to report the incident. One complainant reported that an aggressor struck him with the butt of a knife in the right eye. This complainant was removed to the hospital and received 7 stitches around his eye. The second complainant reported that he was struck in the right eye with a bottle during this incident. And the third complainant reported that a security guard from this restaurant struck him across the head with a baton. It also is to be noted that according to the establishment questionnaire, this restaurant is not licensed to employ security personnel. This February 3rd incident was only the first of many incidents within last year that has spurred today's emergency meeting. It's also important to note that we only received these referrals last week. Getting back to 2017's incidents. On February 24th of 2017, at approximately 10:05 p.m., NYPD officers issued summonses for a patron consuming a Guinness beer on the sidewalk. Although the summons was issued for an open container, it is important to note that this was an extension of the premises. In addition to the prior incident, on April 2nd of 2017, a bouncer at this restaurant got into a verbal altercation with 2 other females at the premises. During this altercation, 3 people were arrested, including an attacker, which it was revealed that he had an illicit gravity knife on his person. Another one of the attackers had a loaded Glock 40 caliber with an extended magazine on him. And again, there was no licensed security personnel on the premises. April 22nd of 2017 at approximately 3:50 a.m., the NYPD responded to an incident directly in front of the licensed premises. The victim stated that he stepped outside of this restaurant to smoke a cigarette when 2 unknown perpetrators approached him and punched him in the face. The perpetrators fled and were not apprehended. It is important to note that on the referral from the NYPD that there was a VIP section on the 2nd level. However, the method of operation states that it will be a ground floor storefront restaurant. On May 6th of 2017, the NYPD conducted a business inspection of the licensed premises and issued summonses for employing unlicensed security guards, blocked means of egress, visibility, security guard failing to attend refresher training, failure to maintain proprietary license to employ these security guards, and failure to post a certificate of occupancy. It also reminds us that the method of operation states that there will be no security. On August 27th of 2017, the NYPD conducted another business inspection of this premises and issued summonses for employing unlicensed security guard, visibility, and failure to post certificate of occupancy. Again, no amending of the method of operation to include security. On November 17th of 2017, a security guard removed a disorderly patron from this club. While the NYPD was attempting to remove this patron, he hit the security guard in the face, and then this patron flailed her arms, kicked, and refused to be put in handcuffs. And then it's just important to note that the NYPD did not send us any of these referrals until a few days ago. In 2017,
that incident right there, what did they do wrong in that incident? November 13th, 2017.
security was they were removing a disorderly patron from the club. Again,
Which is what they're supposed to do. I realize they're not supposed to have security, but if they were to have security, it would seem to me that security guard acted appropriately.
correct, if they had security that were licensed, that we had given appropriate clearance to have security guards. But it's important to note that there were approximately a dozen 911 calls in 2017, including 3 shot shooter activations. Multiple patrons of this restaurant were arrested. It's just, there's a clear disorderlies, intoxes, aside from all the C summonses, of visibility, the unlicensed security, they're really disregarded, they have totally disregarded the law.
Was this place even operating in any way as a real restaurant?
That
Do you
is
know?
very unclear, if they were actually a bona fide restaurant.
Do you know what their hours were? Were they open till 4 o'clock?
I'm unsure of their hours. I know the cook according to our method of operation, the cook should have been there from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's really unclear. Hold on.
And you said this is the first that this has been brought to our attention. What's
Correct.
going on
We
at this place?
received the referrals on March 2nd of 2018.
So I got a lot of questions.
Okay.
Do we know why we didn't receive the referrals?
I am not sure.
So going forward, and this isn't directed at you, but it's directed at you and all your colleagues.
Sure.
I want to know why, when there's this many incidents and it takes a year for them to give them to us, why we don't get them.
That is,
I realize it's not on you. I'm not blaming counsel's office for not getting them, but I would like some explanation from the police department why they're not sending them.
yes.
And then on the most recent fight in February, do we know that these people were actually in the bar other than the 3 people that complained?
It's uncertain from the memorandum.
So we don't know whether any of these people were ever in the bar except for the security guard. And were there any arrests made?
I am uncertain. Counsel, are you aware?
My understanding, Chairman, is that the precinct, upon the point where they contacted Margarita, noted that this place is probably one of the worst that they have. And the background that they gave me was that they have probably additional things that they wanted to add to this. But unfortunately, at this point, this is all that they've sent over. So this is what I've got.
Okay. I mean, I think, there's enough gunplay here and things like that
I think
that there obviously is a risk. My problem is the dates, and they did an inspection on February 9th. There's summons for failure to maintain books and records, but there's no summons for having security guards.
I'm currently looking, Chairman, at a date 2/3/18, where I note a fight broke out between the staff and the patrons at the above-listed premises, which further spilled out into the public sidewalk. This is the second such incident to occur within a week at the same location. The undersigned officer conducted a business inspection and did issue a summons for disorderly premise. The following day, 3 people made a report stating a bouncer hit one of them with a baton, causing a laceration. Another reporter states that a customer did intend to hit him with a glass bottle. Third reporter states that another customer did strike him with the bottom of a knife to the right eye. So I'm noting that from just about I'd say, what is that?
So they were customers.
And that report should be within the packet because that is one of the police referrals we have.
Okay. And on the April 22nd incident, it also looks like it's in front. Do we know, so what you're saying is unless it's in the report, we don't know because we weren't able to talk to any of these people.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, we really got to sit down with this precinct. This is ridiculous.
Agreed.
Especially if they're calling us and saying this is one of the worst places that they have, yet we don't hear from them about it until they decide it's time for us to hear about it.
And perhaps if we'd heard about it earlier, we would have taken action earlier, maybe some of these other incidents wouldn't have happened.
Agreed.
So, so I'm gonna, are you ready, Chairman? I'm gonna vote to summarily suspend this license. I mean, they've got unlicensed guards, even though it sounds like they really needed them, but they should have them properly licensed, of course. Several calls, police calls, gunshots reported. Was it a patron or a bouncer?
We don't know.
Another patron.
Oh, yeah, they called him a patron.
Patron
yes.
was possessing a loaded Glock extended magazine. It looks like a place that is just not on the verge of out of control, but is out of control. So, and it apparently, whether we were notified about it sooner or later, it's apparent that it is a focal point for police attention. So I will vote to suspend.
I'll vote to suspend on the same grounds. I think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done on this though before you are ready to go to hearing, because right now, based on the descriptions we have of these charges, they're gonna be, you know, that I know what the defense is gonna be, and I think you do too, that you're gonna have to shore those charges up because you're gonna have to connect them to the location. But I think that there's enough here to summarily suspend, given the fact that they've clearly been utilizing security guards, lack of books and records, and there's obviously a significant number of police calls to the location that would indicate that there is a pattern of police focal point. So I'll summarily suspend.
All right, the next item I have is 427C, M3 Karaoke Bar, Inc.
Good morning.
Don't forget to introduce yourself.
Like, say my name.
Yeah, your name. Yeah.
Good morning. Miriam Sardar on behalf of Counsel's Office, presenting a case for summary suspension pursuant to Section 401, subsection 3 of SAPA for the establishment known as M3 Karaoke Bar Incorporated. Just 5 days ago, on March 2nd, a march operation was conducted by the SLA and the 72nd Precinct at this location, revealing a number of serious violations of the ABC law. When police arrived at this location, the gates were pulled over the entrance and locked, even though there were patrons still inside the karaoke bar. Once they were able to get inside, they found 3 gambling machines in full operation at the location and patrons using ketamine openly inside the bar in plain view. The most disturbing thing they found, however, was a group of 15 women that were hiding in a room in the basement it was a boiler room, but it was being used as a locker room. These women were dressed in minimal clothing, dressed in lingerie, and none of them appeared to speak English. And they were hiding out of plain view in the main area of the bar, hiding from the investigators. It was extremely disturbing. The investigators during this
So can I
operation...
stop you there?
Sure.
Do we have any idea what their purpose was? I know they're hiding there. What were they doing before we all got there? Do you have any clues?
It's...
Still under investigation.
Yeah, is under investigation, but we know that they were, this group of women were dressed in scantily clothing, and none of them appeared to speak English, and they were just hiding as a group in a boiler room underneath the bar.
Okay.
During this investigation, investigators were also refused entry to a liquor room in the basement. There were numerous bottles of liquor that were found to be purchased from an unauthorized source. In addition, overall, there were 33 summons issued during the March 2nd inspection for a number of violations for the hazardous conditions maintained at the bar, including curtains over exit doors, blocked exits, operating without a flame permit, emergency lights at the location hadn't been tested, fire extinguishers weren't serviced, and so on. 33 violations in total. The reason for that operation actually started on December 19th. On December 19th, there was an assault at the location where a victim was drinking after hours at the bar. He was hit over the head and dragged out of the location. And when police arrived at the location to respond to that call, again, the gates were pulled over the entrance and they were locked, and police couldn't gain entry. So between December 19th and January 19th, there were at least 4 different business inspections that were conducted at the location. In those 4 inspections, at least 13 different patrons were found to be using ketamine inside the location. Not only did these patrons have ketamine in their possession, but they were using it in plain view at the bar. So, clearly the licensee and his employees were aware that ketamine was being used openly inside the bar, but they just didn't care enough to stop it. Additionally, during those business inspections, officers observed employees at the location, running back and forth around the location, warning patrons every time, to hide their ketamine because officers had arrived to conduct an inspection. So based on, additionally, on December 21st, the December 21st business inspection, there was an unauthorized bar observed at the location, with bar stools around it, shot glasses on it. So there's just a number of ABC law violations. There's a number of penal law violations that are occurring at this location. And based on these incidents, this licensee is, maintaining extremely hazardous conditions at the location and is operating as a detriment to the health and safety of the community that it's in.
From your December 19th charge here, it looks like also drinking after hours, 5 a.m.
Yes.
Did we do any, I know we did the SLA investigators were part of the inspection on March 2nd. Were they there any of the other dates or no? Was that just NYPD?
I believe those were just NYPD inspections that we received reports from.
Okay.
So, these women that were hiding in the basement, I mean, we're waiting to find out, I assume the charges will be once we find out what they were there for. I don't see that in and of itself.
Yes, that,
Crime.
we're still waiting for additional
not
information from the precinct on that. That was just 5 days ago, so that's still under investigation by the precinct.
Okay. Well, there certainly is enough here otherwise, so. I noticed that this place and the other place we just, Round 2 Cafe and Catering, they're not too far from each other. They're just across Holy Cross Cemetery from one another. Just kind of odd. Anyway, with all the instances of ketamine possession and use, locked exits, gambling, unauthorized purchase of alcohol, after-hours drinking, and other issues, I am going to vote to summarily suspend this license.
How about to summarily suspend as well? It's obvious that it's a risk to public safety and welfare, an imminent risk, and given the drug activity, plus the fact that they are locking the gate and not letting the police in when there are customers inside is not only dangerous, but just unacceptable. So.
All right, I don't have any items on the calendar. Chairman, do you have anything else?
No.
Then we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.